What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks and predictions video. UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Imavov. Let's get right into it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Next week, I promise, for our UFC predictions video, we'll go a little longer. We'll be back on Thursday. It's been a crazy week, ladies and gentlemen. And I know last week I said I'll make up for it with the long stream this week, and look at us. We're here again late. So thank you for being understanding. Thank you for your ongoing support. I did post my Ryzen picks and predictions video, so go check that out. We had the mighty J Wolf from the We Are Ryzen podcast and Fight Focus on as well. So check that out. Plenty of good picks, I think, on that one, both from J Wolf and myself. And speaking of picks, let's get right into this one. At the end of this stream, I'll have some time to take a few of your guys' comments, but then we're going to jump over to KSW 95. So come hang out with us there. What's up, Mikey P? What's up, Hockey from Home? Let's get to the first fight on this card. We have Ryan Amanda against Puja Toma, ladies and gentlemen. Puja Toma, 8-4 as a pro. She is on a 4-fight win streak. She's 4-1 in her last 5 fights, up against the Brazilian, who's 14-7, 3-2 in her last 5, but she did lose her last fight. Puja Toma, again, coming over from overseas, 6 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, 2 decisions. On paper looks really good, but she has been beating not the best competition. Let's just say that. She's been crushing cans. She's been knocking out girls who are a lot smaller than the Brazilian, as she has been fighting at atom weight. She's 4-0 in Matrix Fight Night, 1-3-1 championship, and 3-1 in Super Fight League. Her last opponent was good. Don't get me wrong, was good. Before then, though, I mean, not the best competition. You're going split decision against a girl who's making her debut, and you're 4-4. Again, she's just a lot smaller than the Brazilian as well. I'm not saying Amanda's anything special, but I do think she just has way more tools, way better grappling, which is what Tomar struggles with. So I'm going to go with Amanda. Well-rounded, good grappling, bigger, stronger. I know Tomar has KO power, but it's usually against lesser opponents. She did have a good win against the former champ in Invicta, did Amanda as well. As you can see here, 2 wins in Invicta against Julian de Courcy. If I'm not mistaken, she actually took the title from her last year. Yep, going with Amanda. Let's move on to the next one. Cody Stamann against Taylor Lapilou. Cody Stamann, 21-6-1 as a pro. Taylor Lapilou, 19-14. Taylor Lapilou lost his, second UFC fight to Farid Basharat via decision. He's 4-1 in his last 5, where Cody Stamann, 2-3 in his last 5. He did lose his last fight to Douglas Silva de Andrade. Stamann is the underdog at plus 225. Solid wrestler, kind of okay everywhere else, but especially at 34 years of age now, not a threat as far as being a dangerous finishing threat, despite having 7 KO TKOs. He's pretty durable, though, as he's never been knocked out. He's only been subbed twice, 12 decisions. I mean, he's a wrestling monster. Not surprised to see that. 7-5-1 in the UFC, 5-0 in knockout promotions, and 3-0 in Triple X cage fighting. Has been in the UFC for a little while now, and honestly doesn't have like bad losses, right? Like Merab, Said Nurmagomedov, Jimmy Rivera. This is the only kind of suspect one at this stage in his career, and he has not fought in a while. Taylor Lapilou, despite being 32, not too much younger than Stamann, he just seems like he's the fresher fighter. He is a little bit more dangerous. 4 KO TKO, 6 submissions, never been finished. His 4 losses have only come via decision. 4-2 in the UFC. Damn, he's 4-2 in the UFC. That's right, he came back. That's right. 5-0 in 100% fights, and 3-0 in Eris. I forgot about his first run. I'm not going to lie. I even went to TKO. That's crazy. Totally forgot about his first run. But yeah, he's put together a great run post his first UFC appearance, and again 1-1 right now upon returning, but no shame in at least going to a decision with Farid Basharat. I have Taylor Lapilou winning Damn, the odds are moving quickly because I literally just finished my prep like an hour ago and he's minus 210. Now he's minus 280. My goodness. Yeah, Cody Stamen.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
I've not been impressed by your performance lately. Taylor Lapierre, good range, more finishing ability, good at scrambling too. He's got the reach on Stamen. I don't think Stamen will be able to just smother him. I don't think Stamen will be able to bully him up against the cage. I think Taylor Lapierre is just as strong and can get back up to his feet. He's a way better striker, both at range and at the pocket. Good leg kicks. Yeah, Cody Stamen is just not as dangerous, so I'm going with Taylor Lapierre. What's up, Volcan? Great to see you. What's up, MMA BG? Good to see you as well. I don't think Puja can win. Most of the Indian fighters are not good. They just don't have good training. That is true. That is true. But with the start of the UFC PI in China, apparently that's going to be one of their destinations. You got Puja the dog. Irish Animal, good to see you. Good to see you. We're not going to talk about tough right now, buddy. We're not going to talk about tough right now. Join us on Tuesday for that. Eduardo Moura against Denise Gomez in the next one. Eduardo Moura, by the way, she missed weight by like 4 or 5 pounds her last fight. Might even been more. 10-0 though, undefeated. Denise Gomez 8-3 as a pro, 3-2 in her last 5 fights. A lot of buzz around Moura coming now into the UFC. She had a good fight on Contender Series, and she looked damn good in her last fight as well, absolutely dominating her opponent. She is the minus 200 favorite here against the hard-hitting Denise Gomez. Denise Gomez, yeah, 3-2 in her last 5. I'm going with the underdog on this one. I'm going with Denise Gomez. Now, look, she's Brazilian, right? So, though she doesn't have the best grappling, though she doesn't have the best jiu-jitsu, I mean, you know this. I mean, you guys should know this. Every single Brazilian is born in a gi and at least 1 or 2 stripes on their white belt. So, she's got some sort of base, okay? I say that tongue firmly planted in cheek. She's still very young, 6 KO TKOs. She's got that power in her fist, 0 submissions. She's never been submitted before, 2 decision losses, and she's won 2 decisions. 2-2 in the UFC, 1-0 in Invicta, and she looked awesome in her Contender Series win. Lost a grappling match in her last professional competition. Lost to Angela Hill. No shame in that. And this is the big one. There was a lot of hype around Yasmin. She was undefeated, and Denise Gomez took her out. Brunno Brazil, though I think Brunno Brazil has been, fraud check is overused, but let's just say Brunno Brazil, that head kick on Contender Series was not necessarily a reflection of what she was going to do in the UFC over and over again. I like that win. And Luma Lukbuni, she's awesome, man. She's awesome. I think she's one of the most underrated female fighters right now in the UFC. So Angela Hill, Luma, not bad losses as well. And she did kill the hype on a 10-0 prospect before. So look, if Moore decides just to go purely grappling, she is going to out-grapple Gomez. She's probably going to smother. She'll probably drag this to a decision or maybe even get her in a position where she can just ground and pound her. But I'm going to go with the underdog on this one. I'm going to bank on Gomez catching her. All right, let's move on to the next one. And again, guys, next week we'll have way more of an interactive picks and predictions videos. I got to jump over to KSW like in less than half an hour, so we're going to keep firing through these. My apologies. Daniel Marcos against John Castaneda. Minnesota represent. John Castaneda 21-6 as a pro. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights, and Marcos undefeated out of Peru. Now, I do like the Peruvian fighters. I think that even if the skill is not the same level as a lot of these Americans or even Brazilians or Russians, like they are scrappy as hell. They got like a Mexican chin, but are a little bit more well-rounded. They're not just purely strikers or purely grapplers. Like I just feel like these guys coming out of Peru are very, very fun. And I think we're going to see, especially with Inca getting better, I think we're going to see a lot more talent coming out of Peru. Daniel Marcos arguably lost his last fight, or that split decision against Davey Grant, I should say. And John Castaneda, an interesting fighter here. John Castaneda is like good everywhere, not great anywhere. And yeah, his last wins haven't been super impressive, but he's light on his feet. He's a good boxer. He's a decent grappler. And look, 7 KO, TKOs, 7 submissions, 7 decisions, never been submitted. His most brutal knockout was that when he got kneed in the face recently. Yeah, by Daniel Santos. I guess it wasn't even recently. It was like 2 years ago. Gaffarov was a good win. Kyung Ho Kang, well, he did what he had to do in that one. Lost to Nathaniel Wood when we all thought Nathaniel Wood was going to be something special. I mean, Nathaniel Wood is pretty good. Marcos is good too, though. He's dangerous. 8 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, 7 decisions. 2-1 no contest in the UFC. And yeah, he had an awesome win on Contender Series. Again, this fight wasn't the best of his. He won it, split decision. You can make an argument either way. I think David Grant won. It just wasn't the best performance by Marcos. Going with the underdog on this one. Going with Castaneda. And I'm not letting, I'm not letting the academy, I'm not letting the Minnesota bias get through here. I just think he will be a challenge for Marcos because I don't think Marcos will be able to put him out. And I think Marcos is going to get frustrated with that. Marcos is dangerous, no doubt, but Castaneda is tough. He's got good footwork. He's not easy to take down. He's got good boxing, good cardio. I think this actually might be a scrap, to be perfectly honest. He knows how to win in the UFC. As my boy J Wolf says, he understands the assignment. And he's a lot more finishes than people think. Do I think he's going to finish Marcos? No, I see this one going to a decision. I feel like John Castaneda will be able to outpoint his way to a victory. All right, next one up the card. Angela KGB Lee against Montana De La Rosa. You guys know, man, like I'm actually even excited for Invicta to come back. I love to support women's mixed martial arts, but having said that, this fight should be on fucking Invicta. Why are these two fighters still in the UFC? And this is why I'm like critical of the UFC, man, because we see matches like this, both on the men's side and the women's side. But there's not much I'm going to say on this one. I'm going with the underdog here. I'm going with Montana De La Rosa. Grappler versus striker. Each have lost to good opponents, so I'll give them that. But I just think this is an awful matchup. What more is there to say? Montana De La Rosa. I'm going to put my eggs in the grappler's basket here. I think she makes this a Holly Holm style fight. Pushes KGB up against the cage, takes away her range, and yeah, tries not to get hit. Maybe we will see this fight in Invicta again someday. But yeah, I'm going with Montana De La Rosa. Next, we have Brad Katona against Jesse Butler. We go Canada versus USA again. It's crazy. Brad Katona just can't get past those Americans. He can rip it up in Brave and take out the Ievs and Ovs, even in split decisions, which is hard to do in Brave, but he can't get past the Americans, man. The odds here are crazy, and they're going up. This morning, he was minus 500. What is going on? Jesse Butler moving down a weight class, if I'm not mistaken. Or did he fight up a weight class last time? Regardless, Jesse Butler is bigger. He's longer. He's bigger. Do I say, or he's taller? Do I think he's stronger? Not necessarily, but yeah, I'm going with Brad Katona on this one. It has nothing to do with him being Canadian, because let's be honest, at this point, he's more Irish than Canadian. Butler just has not faced the competition close to what Katona has faced in his entire MMA career. I think this is a layup for Katona. He's like a smaller Castaneda. He's light on his feet. He knows how to win. He knows how to point fight, right? He doesn't have that power to put you out. He's not necessarily a submission threat, but he fights at a good pace. In this particular fight, I don't think he actually stays on his feet too much. I think he's really going to try to, again, go for the takedown, try to muck it up against the fence. Look, a Katona fight is not usually an exciting fight. But however, I will say, go back to the Ultimate Fighter last year and watch the fight he had with Valiev. I wish that was a 3-round fight, because that was and it should have been a 3-round fight, let's be perfectly honest, based on it. It should have gone to sudden death overtime is what I coined it. That was arguably one of my fights of the year last year. Now, if it was 3 rounds and it continued to be as exciting as it was in the first 2 rounds, it would have been probably in my top 3 fight of the year last year. Dude, look at this fucking tan line. My God, it's distracting me. Jeez. Anyways, yeah, solid point fighter. He just has to pull the trigger more. The Brave run was amazing to get back on the UFC's radar. I think he likely applies grappling. It was a close fight against Garrett Armfield, and I think the right fighter win. Armfield was able to adjust and come back so strong in the 3rd round. Katona destroyed Gibson, and other than Valiev, just walked through the competition on tough. But I mean, surprise, surprise, all the veterans pretty much did. But yeah, Katona, that's my pick. Let's move on to the next one. Charles Radke against Carlos Pratas. Yeah, I got the fucking knockout king on this one. I'm just getting right off the bat. I got the knockout king on this one. Carlos Pratas, 18-6 as a pro, but he is, since losing early in his career, he has got back on the horse and has been absolutely dominating. Now, Chuck Buffalo, he's on a good run as well. 9-3 as a pro, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Both of them are 5-0 in their last 5 fights. But man, Pratas is dangerous. And even if he's like losing, even early in the fight, if he's getting tagged a little bit, or if he's getting out wrestled, he'll get back on his feet, he'll reset, and then he just knocks his opponents the fuck out. He's so dangerous, and he has the experience now to know what it's like to be in deep water. Insane power, man. Really good Muay Thai. Fought some kickboxing recently as well. Way more experience than Radke. I mean, Radke's fine, but he had an awful showing against Blood Diamond. I mean, you have to beat him handedly because he is awful. And Radke, though he beat him, like, he didn't put him out. And there were moments in that fight where Blood Diamond actually got some good shots on him and we're in good positions, which is absolutely insane and Bush League, quite frankly, for a UFC performance. Pratas has the range. He's on a 10-fight win streak, 2 of those being kickboxing fights, and he has 7 straight knockouts, man. I mean, I'm going with the favorite here. Enough said. And on the regional scene, he actually fought really good opponents as well. All right, Thiago Moisés against Ľudovít Klein. Man, this one is a tough one to pick, and honestly, like, this could go either way. I really like this matchup. I really like this matchup. I'm going to go with Ľudovít Klein. And this is the one where I'm scared of this pick. Like, I'm probably going to be wrong on this one, but I'm going to trust. 21-4-1 as a pro, 2-1. What is it? Oh, let me see. What the heck happened there? Right, draw against Jai Herbert. I was like, wait a second, was that not his decision? Anyways, 4-1 draw in his last 5 fights. Beat AJ Cunningham with a beautiful knockout. But guys, let's be real here. AJ Cunningham was taking this fight on short notice. Still a great performance. Still an awesome knockout by Ľudovít Klein. But I think this is the fight that we have to really hone in on. I mean, Bahamondes was a surging prospect. Super fun striking with like the spinning wheel kicks. He's super rangy. And Ľudovít Klein, man, 2 minutes into the first round, just took over and beat that young man up to a pulp. He absolutely destroyed him. Trezano, Nate Landwehr. I mean, look, Nate the Train's a tough opponent. Nate the Train actually finished him, which was awesome. Trezano's fine. Lost to him on the come up as well, but put together a good win streak after that. And it just seems like Ľudovít Klein is like putting it all together. He's pretty well rounded as well. Now, Thiago Moisés, we know where he is dominant. To be honest, though, his striking has come a long way. His leg kicks are good. I mean, he was able to finish his opponent with that last time. His striking has gotten a lot better. He doesn't just use his striking to go for the body lock, trip, or takedown anymore. But having said that, his bread and butter is grappling, and I think his path to victory is to try to control Ľudovít Klein, get on his back, and look for that rear naked choke. But again, Ľudovít Klein, well-rounded enough where I think he'll be able to pull this one out, at least defend those trips, the body locks, and force this fight on the feet. And let's see how good Moisés is against Ľudovít Klein on the feet. So I'm going with Ľudovít Klein, and he is, okay, the slight favorite here. I think these odds are fair. I think Ľudovít Klein has more finishing ability than Moisés. Solid wrestling. Looked awesome in his last 2 fights, like I said, especially the Bahamondes fight. Moisés, though, man, once he gets to the ground, he's a scrambly and dangerous grappler. I don't think Klein, though, is going to give Moisés time to employ his game. I really don't. This is an awesome matchup. Both are solid, and I'm actually pretty excited for this fight. All right, next we have Soriano against Baeza. Soriano 9-4 as a pro. 4-1 in his last 5 fights, and he's moving down from middleweight to welterweight here, which, you know, his power might transfer, and he is a tough guy. So I actually like this move to welterweight. And he's going up against Baeza, who was a good prospect coming into the UFC, but has just not put it together yet. Lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio, which, Ponzinibbio is good. There's no shame in that. It was a decision. Got knocked out from Chaos Williams, a guy who has power, so I guess no shame in that either. Andre Fialho, though, man, he hasn't fought in 2 years. That's crazy. Andre Fialho, I guess, 2 years ago, coming into the UFC, we were all super high on him. And in fairness to Fialho, he has awesome abilities. He's just got a granite chin because he was too active in the UFC, way too active in the UFC. Baeza out of MMA Masters, 7 KO TKO, 1 submission, 2 decisions, 3-3 in the UFC, 1-0 off Contender Series. Did have a grappling match. Okay, so he's kind of back into the mix. Yes, actually, we covered this now that I think of it. Yeah, he had a good finish on Fury Pro Grappling 9 and was on a hell of a run before those 3 losses. Soriano, Extreme Couture, so a very good gym. 6 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 1 decision. Yeah, under 500 in the UFC, 3-4. Fought in PFL, LFA. So he's fought in a bunch of good leagues. Lost to Dustin Stoltzfus. Stoltzfus is pretty good. Kopylov. Oh, this is the one though, man. I can't pick it. I can't pick him. He lost to Nick Maximov. I can't pick him. We're going Baeza. What are my notes on him? The first thing on my notes is, Soriano lost to Maximov. Enough said. I like, despite this being his weight class, despite Soriano dropping down in weight, I like that Baeza has more reach. He's a rangy fighter, and he's just as big, well-rounded, great power, solid striking, more dangerous, faster. And he had a long layoff, but he's kind of gotten himself back into fighting shape, even though he competed in Fury Pro Grappling. All right, moving up the card here, we got Julian Marquez against Zach Reese. Oh, man. Neither of them were that good in my opinion. Neither of them were that good in my opinion. I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid on Zach Reese. I ain't. I think I picked him to win last time because it was Cody Brundage, and Cody Brundage even beat him. Now, it was beautiful. It was a slam KO. Zach Reese was going for the armbar. Zach Reese actually has some solid jiu-jitsu. His striking is horrendous, man. His striking is horrendous. He stands up straight and just allows himself to get hit. He's very stationary. Now, hopefully he's worked on his footwork. Hopefully he's worked on his head movement. But God, from what I've seen of him in Fury anyways, if I watched all his Fury fights, he's just beaten lesser opponents. He's beaten guys that he has had to beat. You know what I mean? He's beaten guys where it would be inexcusable for him to lose to. So, I mean, credit to him. It's the regionals. You're going to take who you can get, right? I'm not going to just rip on him for that, but I just have not been super impressed with this prospect, and I don't think he's as hyped as a lot of people had hyped him up to be upon entering the UFC. Having said that, again, I think his jiu-jitsu is underrated, and he's a very, very... He's rangy, man. He's ranging. So I'm interested to see. And yeah, 6'4", man. I'm interested to see if he's at least able to... or he was at least able to work on his jab, because I think that will be able to help him a lot more in his career here. 4 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 0 decision. Whoops. That's what I want. He's finished all his opponents. That is what I love to see. So I will give him that 100%. He's beaten the guys that he's needed to beat, right? And all in the first round, too, which is impressive. He's lost in the first round and he's won in the first round. Had a decent amateur career as well, going 3-1. Julian Marquez, I mean, all gas, no brakes. He's kind of just a wrecking ball, not super skillful. Well, at least he's not showing it in the UFC these days. I mean, on the rise, he was damn good, man. 5 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 0 decisions as well. I mean, this one is fun as it's 2 guys who only finish their opponents going up against each other. He's fought in Bellator, LFA, UFC, gone in on Contender Series. Brutal loss to Marc-Andre Barrios and Gregory Rodriguez. And you look at his last wins, man. Sam Alvey, Pitolo, and he split decision against Old Man Chichirico. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the right pick is that. Wait, Zach Reese is the underdog? Bro, drop a little some on Zach Reese being the underdog, but I'm gonna back up what I said about Zach Reese here. I'm picking Marquez to win. Marquez blitzes him, looks for the knockout. But I do think if Zach Reese can get the body lock, can get control of this, he'll probably submit him. But I'm putting my eggs in Marquez's basket. We're going with the wrecking ball. Sorry, the Cuban Missile Crisis in Julian Marquez. I can't believe he's not the underdog here. Well, I guess just no one's impressed with Zach Reese. I'm not the only one. All right, moving up the card here, we got Brunno Ferreira against Dustin Stoltzfus. Dustin Stoltzfus is good, man. Dustin Stoltzfus is good, but Brunno Ferreira is just so freaking dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. So freaking dangerous. 11-1 as a pro. Only lost to MMA BG's boy, Nursultan Ruziboyev. And other than that, has just been tearing it up. Now, Dustin Stoltzfus, I do think overall is more well-rounded. But having said that, Ferreira, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, it's not bad. But he hasn't really been tested much in that regard because he's just been beating his opponents early and brutalizing them in all of his wins. 8 KO, TKO, 3 submissions, 0 decisions. That's what I like to see. 2-1 in the UFC 1-0 off Contender Series. Just destroyed what was left of Phil Hawes's brains in his last fight. Before his loss to Ruziboyev, beat Gregory Rodriguez, which I believe he was the underdog in. Beat a 10-1 guy on Contender Series, 10-3 on the regional. Really, I mean, this is whatever win, but experienced guy. 11-5, 3-1 when he was 4-0. I love his resume. I love his development. And I also love how many freaking knockouts he has. 5 of his last 5 wins have been first round knockouts, ladies and gentlemen. He's way more dangerous. Like I said, he actually has some BJJ. I think this is a good matchup to see, okay, this is your next step up. This is your next step up because Dustin Stoltzfus is a very, very capable fighter. 15-5 as a pro, 2 KO, TKO, 6 submissions, 6 decisions. Yeah, he's well-rounded, man. He's well-rounded. Good win against Soriano in his last fight. Lost to GM3, Abus Magomedov. I mean, no shame in that. Now, Kyle Dawkins, there's a lot of shame in that, I will say. But he beat Joe Pyfer, man. He beat Joe Pyfer in Joe Piper's first run on Contender Series. Having said that, I'm going with Brunno Ferreira. I think this is going to be another first-round knockout. And you know what? If Ferreira, if he can get back, put together another 2-3 wins in a row, especially big finishes. I mean, shoot, he might be ranked in 2025. Was I just about to say 2015? Bro, I'm getting old. All right. Featured fight on the card here. We got Raul Rosas Jr. against J-Rock from Trailer Park Boys. I mean, Ricky Turcios. I mean, Brian Battle. Know what I'm saying? Bro, you're saying know what I'm saying so many times. Yo, are you the know what I'm saying police here? Sorry. For those who watch Trailer Park Boys, you'll know what I'm saying. Ricky Turcios, 12-3 as a pro. He is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. And this fight has been booked and canceled twice now. So knock on wood, it actually goes down here on Saturday. Ricky Turcios, very impressive regional run, and he looked damn good on the Ultimate Fighter. He was a standout on a cast that actually had some really good competition in the Ortega and Volkanovski season. 3 KO, TKO, 1 submission, 8 decisions, 2-1 in the UFC, 1-0 Bellator. Didn't make his fight on Contender Series, but then, went to Tough and got it done. I mean, split decision against a nobody, let's be perfectly honest. Fought Zahabi, but just swung at air most of the time. Good win against Brady Heisam, another split decision there. And then again, on the rise, actually put together some really good wins. Josh Paiva, that was a great win. Steve Garcia was a good win. Yeah, I mean, I believed in him. I believed in him on the amateur, on the regional scene, and on the Ultimate Fighter. But since he's come to the UFC, man, he's like a Wish version of Brad Katona, right? He's a point fighter who doesn't score points, who just swings at air. Whereas Raul Rosas Jr., he's going to apply more pressure. And I really think Raul Rosas Jr. is stronger than him, even at 19 years of age. He's 8-1 as a pro, lost his first fight to Christian Rodriguez. I mean, C-Rod is the prospect killer. Great win against Terrence Mitchell, who's, a Ultimate Fighter alum himself. I think he fought on the year that was Benavidez and Cejudo and all the champions in regional promotions were fighting to get a shot at Demetrius Johnson, and he lost to Kai Kara France, I believe, on The Ultimate Fighter. But I digress. Raul Rosas Jr. came back strong against him. Actually showed that he has some power in his mitts. But let's be honest, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, that's what got him to the show, and I think he'll lean on that heavily, taking away the distance against Ricky Turcios. Now, it's not like Ricky Turcios has that knockout power, so maybe Raul Rosas Jr. tests himself a little bit on the feet, but I think it's more like, let me get the jab going, let me get some combos going, let me get that big overhand going so I can go for the double leg or body lock, trip takedown, go for the back submission, and I think that's how this one is going to go. Love Turcios, the person. I mean, how can you not like him, man? How can you not like him? He's wise beyond his years. He's got the quotes left, right, and center. He's one of those, like, you can tell he's one of those like true martial artists, but is he a fighter? I don't know. Yeah, I'm going with Raul Rosas Jr. here. Better wrestlers. He's going to smother Turcios, in my opinion. He's going to fight at a great pace. He's got the youth factor. He's got the power. Yeah, just insane pace. I don't think he's going to give Turcios any distance or room for Ricky to punch at the air. That is my pick. Moving on to the co-main event. Again, I'm going to fire through these so I can take a few of your guys' comments here at the end before we jump over to KSW. The KSW broadcast just started, but usually they have a little bit of buffer time. So the first fight probably won't start for another like 10 minutes or so. Great card, by the way, on KSW, but we'll talk more about that on that stream. All right, co-main event of the evening. We got Dominick Reyes against Dustin Jacoby. Look, I can't pick Reyes unless I see him get a win. I really can't. And against someone as talented as Dustin Jacoby, I got to go Dustin Jacoby on this one. Oh, this is tough, man. This is far from a layup for Dominick Reyes to get back in the win column. Dustin Jacoby is dangerous, man. Now, he lost his last fight to Alonzo Menifield, but honestly, he shot himself in the foot in that one. He was winning that fight. He was landing way more shots and good shots against Menifield. Got a little too cocky at times, got a little too like seething in the moment for in that brawl, because he actually dragged Alonzo Menifield into a brawl for a lot of that fight, and Menifield has the power, man. He's dangerous. He may not be a volume striker, but he's dangerous when he lands, and he rocked Dustin Jacoby and dropped him twice in the fight due to just mistakes on Jacoby more than Menifield's skill. Let's just say that much, okay? And no disrespect to Menifield, he has that ability. So fucking rights. If you're gonna land on someone else's mistakes, I'm gonna give you all the credit in the world. But if you watch that fight, you'll know that like Dustin Jacoby, he was his own worst enemy in that one. 19-8-1 as a pro in mixed martial arts, former Glory kickboxer, and he has fought some awesome competition in the UFC. Factory X guys, his leg kicks have just improved. 12 KO, 2 KO, 1 submission, 6 decisions, 7-5-1 in the UFC. He's fought in Bellator World Series of Fighting. Man, he's got a lot of experience. Great win against Kennedy Nchukwu. This one, he deservingly lost, but the Khalil Roundtree one, in the moment, because we did a live stream for that one, I thought Khalil won. I've watched that fight twice since. I do think Jacoby should have won that one. Was able to take some big shots from Khalil as well. And before them was on a hell of a win streak, ladies and gentlemen, in kickboxing, mixed martial arts, and boxing. I mean, okay, there was a draw to Kutalaba mixed in there, but still, I've always been a fan of Jacoby, and despite me being a fan of Reyes as well, 4 losses in a row, and man, I mean, this one he should have won, let's be perfectly honest, but brutal loss to Jan Blachowicz, brutal loss to Yuri Prohaska that put him on the shelf for a long time, broken orbital, like his face was just destroyed among other injuries. And then the Ryan Spann, man, like power jab, like they're at least being like somewhat kind to Reyes here. He got knocked out by a fucking jab, guys, against Ryan Spann. So it's tough to watch people in their decline. God, I mean, I hope he doesn't get knocked out. But I'm going Dustin Jacoby on this one. And honestly, even if Dominick Reyes was like a win-loss fighter at this stage in his career, I'd probably still pick Jacoby to win. Now, I know he has kickboxing. He has a kickboxing background as well. Dustin Jacoby, man, he just looks good. He just looks good recently. Yeah, and then like I have it in my notes, so I got to see Reyes bounce back before I can even entertain a win from him, especially against someone who is not a layup. Yeah, Jacoby has decent power in MMA, but against really good guys, he has to resort to a volume striker. But they're solid strikes. This ain't no Brad Katona, Ricky Turcios strikes. He fights at a good pace. He's tall. He's rangy. Yeah, I think I went over everything else there. We're going Dustin, Jacoby. Again, next week, ladies and gentlemen, I promise, hold me to it. I promise we'll have a more interactive live stream. I've only been able to sneak these prediction videos in before other streams these last 2 weeks, and we got to jump over to KSW soon. So my apologies for that. I'll try to take a few comments here at the end. Speaking of the end, main event of the evening, Jared Cannonier against Nassourdine Imavov. I cannot believe. Okay, it's getting closer. He was like plus 120 earlier, so you better believe I dropped a little some on that because this is absolutely insane that he's the underdog. Jared Cannonier is going to win this fight, man. Jared Cannonier is going to win this fight. Unless Nassourdine Imavov made astronomical improvements between his last fight and now, bro, he's just not on the same level. You know, especially because like middleweight's not that great anyways. It's like bottom of the barrel middleweight, okay middleweight, Imavov tier middleweight, not quite title contender middleweight, which is what Jared Cannonier is, and then you know the few title contenders and well now the carousel of champions. Whereas Jared Cannonier, he's been knocking at that door for a little while now, and he is clearly a tier above Imavov. It's clear as day, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy that people are saying that Imavov is going to win this fight. 13-4 as a pro for Imavov. 5 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 4 decisions, 5-2-1 in the UFC. He beat Roman Dolidze in an absolute disgrace of a performance, honestly, by both of them. No contest to Chris Curtis. Now, he was beating Chris Curtis, but it wasn't like Chris Curtis was absolutely being dominated. He was still very much in that fight, and there was still a lot of fight to go. Lost to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland came in on short notice. Joaquin Buckley beat him. He beat Joaquin Buckley, which is a good win. Shabazian, is that really a good win in hindsight? Ian Hennish, is that really a good win in hindsight? And lost to Phil Hawes. Bro. He had a good run in Airsport coming into the UFC. I'll give him that. But man, he's got no cardio. And this 40-year-old is going to show him what a real athlete, a real top middleweight looks like. Okay? Like imagine if Cannonier was 5 years younger, man. This would be more brutal than a freaking guillotine death sentence in France. Let's be perfectly honest here. The Killer Gorilla is absolutely going to destroy this man, in my opinion. Absolutely going to destroy this man, in my opinion. 9 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 5 decisions, 10-6 in the UFC. Yeah, and he fought in Alaska Fighting Championship before that. Great win against Marvin Vettori, who, again, Imavov kind of at that like Vettori, tier. The Sean Strickland win, say what you want about it. It was a close fight. Much closer than the Sean Strickland fight against Imavov where he lost. Lost to Izzy for the title. Brutalized Derek Brunson. Brutalized Kevin Gastelum. Now, I know you didn't finish Gastelum. Gastelum's tough as nails, but still very much a one-sided fight. Lost to Robert Whittaker. So his last 2 losses have been to Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. Like, come on, bro. And he lost to a prime Dominick Reyes and a prime Jan Blachowicz. And go over to he's only lost to top competition, man. He's only lost to top competition. Absolutely brutalized Jack Hermanson as well. And it doesn't look like the Killer Gorilla is slowing down at all. Like the age decline is non-existent for him. Now, will we see it sooner than later? Probably. Father Time is undefeated. But what an insane athlete. And he very much takes good care of his body. That crystal magic is real. And I ain't talking about the meth streams, ladies and gentlemen. We're going Jared Cannonier. This is easy fucking money, guys. Easy money. Imavov's not on the same level. A tier below. Horrendous cardio. Imavov, honestly, it's laughable how bad his cardio is. It's laughable. Again, the fact that he didn't finish Dolidze and that fight was dragged into whatever the fuck that fight was embarrassing. And it was embarrassing for Dolidze as well, coming off a great performance against Vettori in a knockout, I believe it was, to Paul Craig. But yeah, man, how do you not finish him? Jared's not champ tier, but he's definitely above Imavov. Imavov is not dangerous in my opinion. Jared Cannonier has finishing abilities, an insane athlete, good cardio, and honestly, like he pushes forward as the fight goes. And if he senses you're getting tired, he is going to expose that crack in your game and in your game plan. After round 2, it's over for Imavov. Even if he wins the first 2 rounds, after round 2, it's fucking over, man. It's over. Yeah, and Jared Cannonier looked awesome against Vettori as well. So we're going with the Killer Gorilla. All right. Degenerate and safe parlay of the week. Again, guys, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Degenerate parlay. Let's start with that one. We're going with Dominick Reyes, Jesse Butler, and Puja Tomar. The safe parlay of the week, which is honestly, it was harder to put a safe parlay together this week, but we're going Bruno Ferreira, Raul Rosas Jr., and the Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier. What's up, Dana? What's up, TR Clips? What's up, Funkmaster? Good to see you guys. What's up, Ill Cats? No Chill MMA. I'll give you guys all a shout out. Sven, good to see you. J-Rock, baby. J-Rock, baby. Peak Master, my man. Good to see you. Hobknocker. What's up, Hobknocker? Yeah, we're jumping over to KSW soon. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Volcan, thank you for joining. Anthony Ganskow, thank you for joining. Yo, my name Deshaun. Thank you for joining. MMA BG, thank you so much for joining as well. Irish Animal, Mikey P, you all are amazing. Again, I promise next week we will be back to, an hour and a half UFC picks and predictions video, and we will spend some time after the show just hanging out with you guys and commenting and taking your guys' comments as well. But that's it for this predictions video. I gotta jump over to KSW. The stream is already up, guys. The stream link is already up. So go jump in that live chat, and I will see you over there. Hope you guys enjoy the fights this weekend. Like I said, like and subscribe. Join us for KSW 95. Field to free and still, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if he can continue his crazy streak. He's the greatest heavyweight outside the UFC right now, and it is fucking amazing. Back next week for UFC picks and predictions video. Back in literally 1 minute on the other side for KSW 95. Smash that like button and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.